stay focused. Oftentimes, in regards to Black women and marginalized folks, we do a lot of invisible labor that can and do distract us from attaining whatever the set goal is. So I'm going to share some highlights for the first week of the 75 Soft Challenge. The first being that I was able to finish reading the book that I have been reading for a couple of months now, but just having that set reading time or the reading requirement to read 10 pages a day really pushed me to finish completing this book. And it's Sisterhood Heals by Dr. Joy, who is known for her podcast, Therapy for Black Girls. And in the last part of the book, chapter 6, Sisters Over Systems, really stood out to me in thinking about the ways in which the spaces that we occupy as Black women, how we are either mindful to leave the door open for others or close the door. And she asked in particular, what would sisters say? And thinking about just being oftentimes in an in-between space. So as a young professional, being mindful to be the person I wanted to be for someone else. And that includes replicating systems or practices, I should say, that really helped me along my journey. So it could be something as simple as sending an email to someone who joined a program that you were a part of, whether or not that's your undergrad program or your master's or your doctoral program, and saying, hey, just to let you know, I'm an alumna of this program. Feel free to reach out to me, or even, hey, do you want to go out for lunch? That was something that was really impactful for me in my doctoral training, having other Black women who were further along in the process, whether or not they had already earned their PhDs or were in an earlier cohort, just for them to take that moment out to take me out to lunch, to have a phone conversation, to say, hey sis, like, I'm gonna put you on game. That was really beneficial, because a reoccurring advice that they gave me was to stay focused. Oftentimes, in regards to Black women and marginalized folks, we do a lot of invisible labor that can and do distract us from attaining whatever the set goal is. In particular, we can think about a master's degree or a doctoral degree. So having that example is something that I intentionally replicate. So whether or not that was in my postdoc or now that I'm teaching, to really be the person that was beneficial to me, and also that help to fill in some of the gaps, right? So, and thinking about folks who want to enter in academia, being a part of spaces where I can share writing opportunities, for example, just reflections on going through the writing process, the comprehensive exam, etc. So that part of Dr. Joy's book in regards to Sisters Over Systems really stood out to me. If we join forces, we might be able to change the systems that are trying to bind us. If we refuse to play the games they have set up, we can be strategic in building our own systems while dismantling theirs. And that way, our sisterhood becomes a form of resistance. I'm going to read it one more again for the folks in the back. If we join forces, we might be able to change the systems that are trying to bind us. If we refuse to play the games they have set up, we can be strategic in building our own systems while dismantling theirs. And that way, our sisterhood becomes a form of resistance. So in thinking about my journey as a professional, and luckily the majority of my experiences, I can say, were beneficial and healthy experiences to help me along my journey. The ways in which sisterhood heals inside of professional spaces and in platonic and social and familial spaces, I can definitely attest to. If a sisterhood is the basis or the foundation of the ways in which that Black woman or a sister circle operates, then it makes living easier, right? We can think about a lot of the systems or the ways in which the system is set up to make life difficult intentionally. Just coming from a deficit model, or you always need to achieve more or consume more or gain more in order to have your worth be established or reestablished. When sisterhood is the foundation, it's a better place. Another thing I was mindful to do was to physically get a cup and measure out the water intake that I needed in order to achieve my daily water intake requirement or goal. So physically seeing it was helpful for me, because I know, for example, okay, if I drink this cup these amount of time throughout the day, then I have achieved my water intake. So for those who want to know if they're getting enough water, once they do the calculations that they need, I would then recommend to get whichever glass or mug, etc., that you use throughout the day, or if you use a couple of different cups out the day, right? So if you have a cup that you use in the morning, or a cup that you tend to use for dinner, etc., just to measure it out, so that way physically you can say, okay, well, once I've met these, once I've drank these amount of cups, for example, then I know that I have met my water intake. Just having that physical representation throughout the day just let me know, okay, well, 1/3 there, 2/3 there, 3/3 there. So I didn't have to worry about measuring it daily, for example. Also worked on having more plant-based meals. As you saw in my grocery run video, I was able to pick up a couple of plant-based products. Later on in this video, you'll see me cooking the Blue Mountain tofu. I enjoyed it for someone who, again, has a soy-free restricted diet now. So for folks who are interested in trying tofu, or who don't like tofu, the taste of it, I would recommend trying something that is soy-free, just to see if you like it better. One of my favorite workout for the weeks was to go on a hike with my dog. And there was this article that one of my home girls sent me in regards to forest bathing. So shout out to Dr. 99, Dr. Tara Madi, who is on episode 2 of season 3. Just the importance of touching the grass, as I like to say. Like, did you get outside today? Did you spend time in nature? So that part was a highlight, because the wind was very magical, okay, as they like to say. Just the moment just to sit and listen and let the leaves fall as autumn is upon us, and to listen to water, which was very therapeutic. So I also will include some of that in the later portion of this video. So what was my challenge? I would say what I need to work on is creating a better reading habit time. I know for me, at a certain point of the day, listen, I'm ready to be in the bed, okay? Thank you day, it's over. Here are my gratitudes for the day. So I would say for me, it was being mindful to say, hey, I should read by this certain time, so that way if I didn't read in the morning, for example, to know that by a certain time my brain is like, all right, that was great, that was nice intellectual labor for the day, let's go ahead and rest. So now you're going to see some B-roll, some forest bathing with Duchess and the tofu joint. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you have decided to join the challenge, or to work on improving a habit, or have a goal for the last quarter of 2024, feel free to drop it in the comments or send a DM. This to share ways in which you are navigating through this life, this thing we call adulthood. So as I sign off, I would like to ask, have you done anything today to practice love? If not, practice love, sis. It's a gorgeous fall morning. 75 soft mint. In order to get my 45 minutes workout in, I decided to go on a short hike. And I'm grateful My box looked like it done been through something because it done been through something. I put it in the freezer just so it wouldn't waste. But yeah, I've been trying soy-free products for health reasons. This is Big Mountain fava beans. Gonna replicate what's on the picture with the hash brown and some fruit for this slow Sunday. And as always, love is real and eternal. In community, peace.